High above the Andes, a chartered Fairchild turboprop carried a Uruguayan rugby team, their friends and family toward Chile. Inside the cabin, laughter, guitar music, and the carefree rhythm of youth. Then, white, a wall of cloud, a sudden jolt. Metal screamed, the fuselage tore apart, and within seconds they were no longer passengers, but survivors stranded at 4,000 meters in the freezing heart of the mountains. 45 people entered the Andes that day. Only 16 would walk out 72 days later. This is not just a survival story. It's a testament to the choices we make when death feels inevitable. Stay until the very end, because the miracle was not luck. It was built step by step on impossible decisions. Every life is a story, but some are unbelievable. This is Bold Chapter. Chapter 1. The Team and the Journey. They were young athletes from Montevideo's Old Christians Rugby Club, plus friends and relatives. Their goal, a friendly match in Santiago. The route was simple on paper, a flight to Argentina, then a short hop over the Andes. On board, energy ran high, songs, jokes, snapshots. Clouds gathered outside, but no one imagined danger. The Andes are stunning from a distance, but up close, in bad weather, they are a wall of stone and ice, unforgiving to even the most experienced pilots. Chapter 2. The Crash. Near the mountains, weather thickened into blinding mist. The pilots believed they had crossed the range and began to descend. Too early. A ridge emerged from the fog. The right wing struck rock, then the left. The tail snapped off, taking passengers with it. The fuselage slammed onto a glacier and skidded downhill until it stopped, broken and silent. Inside, chaos. Some died instantly. Others were trapped, injured, or in shock. But even here, leadership began to form. Passengers turned rescuers, pulling bodies from snow, turning debris into shelter, torn clothing into bandages. Chapter 3. The First Days. They counted what little remained, a few chocolate bars, a handful of nuts, a few bottles of wine. The fuselage became their shelter, sealed with luggage and scraps of metal. At altitude, the air was thin. Dehydration came faster than hunger. They learned to melt snow using the sun and body heat. They believed rescue was only days away. Every morning they cleared snow from the fuselage, ready for a helicopter that never came. Chapter 4. The harsh reality. Days passed. Then came the crushing blow. Through a small radio they learned the search had been called off. No one was coming. The cold gnawed at them. Wounds worsened. Hunger became constant. The mountains stretched endlessly, peaks hiding more peaks. Some prayed, some despaired. But every morning they organized water, warmth, watch shifts. Among them, Nando Parado, who had lost his mother and sister in the crash, began to see one truth. If they wanted to live, they would have to walk out themselves. Hey, you're here for Bold Stories, and we've got plenty more coming. Smash that like button, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and drop a comment to tell us what hit you hardest in this episode. And if you want to ride with us all the way to the top, subscribe right now. Let's make this the fastest growing channel of 2025. It's a community, and you're part of it. Chapter 5. The Unthinkable Decision. By now, every crumb of food was gone. The glacier held no animals, no plants, nothing to eat. The only source of calories left was the bodies of those who had already died. They were Catholic. They were friends. This felt like betrayal, unless it was a way to honor the dead by keeping the living alive. Debate was long and painful. In the end, they made the choice together, with prayer, apology, and the names of the dead held in their minds like a final blessing. Chapter 6. The Avalanche. Just as they settled into a grim rhythm, disaster struck again. In the night, an avalanche thundered down and buried the fuselage. Some survivors suffocated before they could be freed. Those who lived dug out the dead with trembling hands. The avalanche took more than lives, it took their last illusions. Rescue was not coming. If anyone was to survive, they had to leave. Chapter 7. The Long Trek for Help. Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa prepared to cross the mountains. No climbing gear, no proper boots, just scraps of insulation and sheer will. They climbed for days through thin air, each summit revealing another wall of peaks. Finally, beyond the snow line, they reached a roaring river. On the far bank stood a man on horseback, Sergio Catalán, a Chilean muleteer. The river drowned their voices, so Catalán wrapped paper around a stone and threw it across. Parrado's note read, "I come from a plane that fell in the mountains. I am Uruguayan. I have 14 friends up there. Please help." Catalán tossed them bread, nodded, and rode nearly 10 hours to the nearest town to alert the authorities. Without him, the miracle would never have happened. Chapter 8. The Rescue and the World's Reaction. Helicopters roared into the valley, plucking Nando and Roberto out first, then returning for the others. 16 people came down from the mountains alive. The world's headlines called it a miracle, but focused on the taboo of cannibalism. The survivors didn't hide from the truth. They explained it plainly. Families of the dead, with unimaginable grace, forgave them. In time, the noise faded, leaving the real story. Not scandal, but willpower. Not macabre spectacle, but proof of what humans can endure. And the Chilean horseman whose ride saved 16 lives. Another chapter closed, but the story is far from over. Subscribe to Bold Chapter and never miss what's next. The Andes did not show mercy. The survivors lived because they refused to stop moving forward, because they made choices no one should have to make. Their story is not only about endurance, but about how strangers like Sergio Catalán can become the hinge of history. 72 days in the snow, and they walked out alive. Not because the mountains let them go, because they fought their way down. This was today's Bold Chapter. If you found this story powerful, subscribe and share it. Because somewhere out there, someone needs proof that the human spirit can survive even in the coldest place on Earth.